What was that? What? What's that sound? Where? It's aliens and they're living in your town. Damn. They have arrived. What? They're all around. So many aliens living in your town.
Hello, weirdos. How's everybody doing out there in Weirdo Land? Cast, crew, members, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, doing well.
Nice. Okay, we have a lot to cover tonight. It's a very Halloweeny podcast tonight. Yes. Vicky, what everybody wants to know is about this ghost footage. I want to have a heart-to-heart with you on the air. I know me and you have talked a little bit behind the scenes. You have some anxiety, I feel. I feel like you do have some anxiety when it comes to releasing this footage, which I can understand and I can relate to. But with that said, I think you are too in it because it's good footage and you're very well respected.
Well, I understand. I mean, I've actually had a lot of people reach out to me. I did a lot of the free 48 readings this week, and I had a lot of people reach out, and towards the end of the readings, they voiced their opinion. I do have a lot of people. In fact, one person said, "Don't you dare release that video."
Well, I don't want you to listen to the people. they don't know what they're talking about because they're not in this situation.
But, you know, it's twofold. It's number one, I never released anything because that's not my purpose. That's never been my purpose
I
on
thought
the
we
team.
released stuff before, though, back in the day.
Not video.
I thought we released orbs. I thought we had video of orbs we released.
No, I wouldn't have released orbs.
Just
EVPs are the only thing that I've ever
What's
done.
the difference between... So that's a main question that I get. Why can you release audio, but you can't release video?
Well, because it's like there's so many people that are out there faking video, and it's easier for somebody to manipulate. Once you have that out there in the public eye, people can take that and they can manipulate it and turn it into a joke. And it's not a joke.
But with that said, though, Vicky, honestly, and I do this every single day, it is way easier to manipulate audio. You can take audio and you can take it and change it to where you have Beckett selling cocaine and snorting blow-off hookers.
Yeah.
That's how, you can.
But so far, nobody's
It was
done
fake.
that.
But people have done that in our business. And my whole point is it doesn't matter what any of these Johnny-come-latelys say. They're even if you had a ghost in here and you were interviewing the ghost and the ghost did the Slimer thing on camera, you're going to have all of these Johnny-come-latelys say, "You guys faked it, fuck you, blah, blah, blah." Screw them. We have your back. In fact, I would say 80% of KVJ Nation has your back. Some people are going to look at the footage and they're going to say, "Oh, that's shit footage." And that's okay. That's completely fine. Majority is not, and we're not going to let anybody be a dick to you. So I don't want you thinking that the trolls out there is going to get the better of you because they're not. They won't.
Well, I'm not even worried about that. You got to realize when I started my team in 2007, we established that we were not going to make any video public. And if you go on the evidence page on Point Paranormal, you won't find audio there either. You don't find audio or video or any kind of evidence because, like I've stated before, the evidence is simply for me to help the client and to figure out what's going on and to get rid of it if that's what the client so wishes. And there was never any reason for me to post. It's just against what I've done. So what I've done, just to let you know, this is how it happened. I did set my team up, even though I am the founder director and I do, drive what we do. I did set it up as a democracy. So what I did is I put it up to a team vote as to whether we were going to release this. And the go ahead and give it to you won.
Just so you know that I'm not coming from being a dick from my area. Since day one with this podcast, my whole goal, and I've been very vocal and honest and transparent, is I want footage. I want proof. I want to let people know what we're doing. I want to go out there and make it happen. And from my perspective, if we do a podcast where you've got your scanner going on, we tell the audience that we've got cameras on me, that we're recording all of this, they get ginned up, they get excited. So at that point, they want to see what we're doing. And for us to say we can't do that, that's where the backlash comes by. And I want to be transparent again with everybody here. Everything I do with this podcast, I want proof. I want audio. I want video, and then I want the public to decide. And that's been my mission statement since day one. But with that said, I don't want to make you uncomfortable if you don't want to release this footage. I think the footage is fantastic. I stand by it. I totally can tell you, all of these fucking haters and these Johnny-come-latelys Who gives a shit about them? If they're going to doctor it, we come back because we have microphones and say, the footage you're looking at is not real. This is the real footage. And that's what we set the record straight. But my whole mission of this podcast is to get proof, is to get audio and video. Just so when we're moving on forward, that's, because I wouldn't have let anybody film me if it was just for shits and giggles. You know how I am. I'm an attention whore. I want the footage. I want all that.
Yeah, but it wasn't for shits and giggles. It was to try to help you.
But again, though, if we're going to do all that, we do that without on the podcast. We had a conversation before about talking about what we're doing and let the audience in. So as soon as the audience is in, they're now invested. And I totally get the people who email me that say, Jason, we don't care about the footage. Listen to Vicky, blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, I can't have that. If we're gonna do stuff about footage and audio, I have to release it to the public. If not, we have to talk about, what our purpose is here. And I don't mean that in a jerky way. I have majority of people want to see the footage, and that's what I'm concerned with.
Right. And I know that they want to see it, but like I said, I've had a lot of people reaching out to me and they say, you do what's best. People have been very supportive and saying they know that whatever we have is real. They know good and well I have not done anything to this footage. Denny's before the show is trying to get it off the stupid DVR, and we can't even get the right cords to get it off the DVR.
So I feel that you have a thing where you think some people are going to think you're lying and doctoring footage, because I do feel that.
Right. I mean, nobody wants to be called a liar for something that is their passion.
But
I wouldn't want somebody to say I'm a bad teacher and that I lied about a child's test scores either.
But the bottom line is, when we are doing stuff in the public figure or in the public eye, we're putting ourselves out there. And again, I can't stress to the audience enough of your credibility. I've known you for 12 years. I think the world of you. I would never want to do anything that jeopardizes our friendship. But when you tell me the reasons why you don't want to release it, that's when I say, well, Vicky, don't worry about that bullshit. Because there's always going to be somebody who says it's not real, it sucks, you suck, you're a shyster, you're always going to have that.
But bottom line, one of my team members put it best when she said, this is the rule that you've had on your team. However, I think it's time in this particular case to make an exception to your rule. And honestly, it's stuff other teams do all the time. It's just what I have never done because I'm not into the Hollywood and all that kind of stuff. So I've always been about helping the client. And I wasn't worried about my website, and I wasn't worried about, being a guest spot on some, episode of a haunting. I've just been worried about helping people with their haunting.
And majority of people know that. They do. They know that.
Ironically, it should give people more belief and credibility in Vicky, because if she was just doing it for the attention, then it wouldn't be such a point of contention. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. This is good. The fact that we're arguing about this proves to the audience that this is some awesome, real shit that we're talking about. And that's great.
It's like when a leader on a sports team or a politician, I think better than ever, people can nowadays like kind of see through that. You can tell when someone, usually for the most part, is really passionate and behind like their belief. And so I think, to me, being the skeptic, it actually gives more credibility.
Yeah,
well, you've really had my back through all this too, I have to say. And I've had people reach out to me and say, Ryan, he's supposed to be the skeptic, but he's listening to you. I think you finally convinced him there's something out there.
I think Denny's is along with me. He's like, even though we're skeptical, like we're also the type of people like, we don't want to poke the bear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it's good. But I definitely understand both sides.
Yeah.
It's point well taken. But I think Denny's and I sitting on the side and seeing the passion on both sides gives me more credibility to Vicky. You should give the audience, and then to you the mission statement. But that's in your blood with how you are in radio. Like,
for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, again, that's why I just want to reset everything and say what I want to do with the podcast. And it's not that I don't listen to everybody, but this has been what I've been wanting. This is my passion. This is what I want to do. I want to be able to release that footage and then get the terrible comments. I want this. I want the skeptics. I want people to say we're full of shit. We know in our hearts. I mean, honestly, we have a very passionate fan base who are discarding or barring the whole KVJ thing. We have a weird whatever audience. It's very passionate, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing. And if we always agreed on everything, that makes for a boring podcast.
Totally.
I'm sorry. I know there's people that are annoyed with me. There are people who are annoyed with you. As a person in the media, that means we're doing something good.
Totally.
I mean, we're supposed to get people debating and talking. So, Denny's, you're awfully really fucking quiet.
I'm just soaking it all in, man. You guys are so intense.
It's got to be intense.
I get it.
Yeah. So, and the other thing too that I think we need to discuss is Vicky seems to think that there's I don't want to say demon.
I said not human.
Not human, and I tend to believe that that's not true.
Okay.
Oh, and that's where we have a bit of a different opinion.
Right.
And I don't mean to at all challenge you on that, but I'm literally living in this thing, so I feel that I could tell, to be quite honest.
What's the
with you.
update on all of it in terms of what you're experiencing?
To be quite update, it's been really quiet here. It's been really quiet. Why would that be?
It's getting ready to get what it wants. Just saying.
Oh, do we call this demon foreplay?
Demon foreshadowing.
Is the demon coming for me at Halloween? I'm not trying to make jokes.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Vicky, you know how my personality is. I'm not going to be serious all the time.
Oh, I never. In fact, what moment were you actually serious? What day was that?
Oh, you know I can be serious. Get out of here with that. I love it.
So do you think it's going to strike on Halloween then? I mean, it does make sense.
Is Halloween just like a candy holiday, or is that just something that is it actually like does it rouse the spirits?
Well,
at all?
it came from what is it? The next day is like All Saints Day or something, and supposedly on that night, all the dead rise and walk amongst us, and that's why you wear costumes so you can't tell the living from the deceased. So they can't get you.
I don't know. Vicky's challenging Denny's for some random facts.
Oh yeah, wow, that's good. No,
that was an A too. I think
it's very good. It's Halloween time. It ties in.
Okay, so I think we've come to a conclusion. You voted with your ghost team,
Right.
and okay, so
And also two outside people who are not part of the team, but are that I help them on their team.
Yes.
And they both said, "Go ahead and."
Okay, I love it. Okay, so we'll talk after the podcast again just to double check. But I believe we are in the process of releasing some ghost footage.
As soon as he can get it
Yeah,
off
I gotta
the
go.
machine.
I gotta go grab a monitor that has VGA.
Oh shit! I don't even know what that means. Doesn't sound good. All right, let's talk about some other stuff going out there. We may resurface back to that. Something I want to ask the chat room. A little segment now called Let's Ask the Chat Room. Should we go to, and this is for the people who who watch the podcast, do you like how we have the 4 screens on the screen? Do you like the 4 little things, or would you rather have it how it's KVJ style? If Beckett's talking, it's just Beckett, and then when Vicky goes, it switches to Vicky. Or do you like the 4? Because we do it completely different than we do the KVJ show, which I wanted to do to get kind of a different an opinion. Let us know in the chat room. Let us know in the comment section. Good, bad. Should we keep it the same or change it up? What do you guys think?
I like the 4.
I like the 4 too. You can
Yeah.
see everyone's expression.
I've grown.
I didn't like it at first, but I do like it now.
There is something nice about KBJ TV because it cuts to everybody,
yeah,
so
it's
you
cool.
can
It's like automatic.
But
or
you
you can
do-
scratch your nose or like get
You
something
miss
out of your
shit, though.
eye. Like
You miss a
now,
lot of shit.
everybody sees everything.
It's true.
That's
All right,
I guess
finally
you
not-
could have like one zoomed out camera too, right?
Yeah,
we
I
could.
think we got the far one.
It's people like a lot of the. We've got all 4 split.
Four split.
Yeah.
One person.
Once you have it, it's hard to take it away.
One likes KVJ.
Is there a Chewy cam? Is a Chewy cam working?
We have it sometimes. I think usually when we have 3 people here.
Okay.
So I think it might be time to let's get a little life in this thing. I think it's time for
Denny's Random Facts.
Well, we already started off.
Good job, Ariel.
Yeah, no. Everybody coming in with the full effort. We got a little bit of a taste or an appetizer with Vicky's random fact. Let's see here. So did you guys hear about this? Oregon had the only state-sponsored rock festival sponsored by the United States. It was an elaborate ploy to lure young people away in Portland during a planned visit by Richard Nixon. So check this.
But by the way, Vicky did not sound impressed, and
I did think that was interesting.
that's
Sneaky
a super
politics.
surmised version of what I'm going to give you right here. Because in 1970, Richard Nixon was president, and the Vietnam War raged on. and there was protesters at Kent State University. So they were worried when Richard Nixon flew into Oregon that the protesters were going to become violent. So they all got together and decided, if we threw a giant festival in the name of peace, everybody that would go to protest would go to this festival instead. And weirdly, nobody mentioned it, but everything was free at this festival. It was completely put on by the state. Everything was locally donated. And there was no law or any sort of officials at it. And people partied literally for 3 days while they had this meeting.
I give that an A, and this shows why I do not trust the government.
Well, I think does anybody here trust the government other than bitch boy Beckett?
It's self-deprecating to even admit this, but he was first telling the story, and it was in Oregon. I was like, why would people go to see rocks? Like, that's so stupid.
Lift your mic up a little bit, Beckett. Just don't laugh in it, but lift it up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So
people would be lured by a rock festival.
I did want to. I meant to read this before this segment, but we got an email who felt really bad for Denny's. In fact, I've gotten a couple emails about Denny's. It says, "Dear weirdos, love the podcast. I've been listening since the beginning. I did have an idea though for Denny's random facts. I love that Vicky gives him a grade for each fact since she's the educator on the show, but I feel like the grades are so harsh. I know she is the stern one of the podcast. I'm a huge fan of hers, but I feel so bad for Denny's when he brings some good shit to the table and gets critiqued so harshly. Anyways, my idea was to change the grading system to either weird or whatever. Obviously, with the nature of the podcast, weird is always good, and I feel like whatever is appropriate grade for failing. Just a thought. Ashley and Josh from Green Acres.
Okay, that's
like
okay.
it.
But
Okay.
there's been times where you wanted me to grade him more harshly, and I don't think I've ever. Maybe once you got a D. I've never given you an F.
Oh, it's fine.
There's
Yeah,
been some
well,
C's.
I'm gonna answer that email. Ashley and Josh, thank you for the feedback, but because you're trying to coddle our sweet Denny's, I'm only gonna get harder. Right? The critiques are gonna be harsher. So my boy better bring his fucking A
All right,
game.
get out of here. All right. Yeah, well, so I like the suggestion.
It's a good idea.
I don't mind the grading
a
scale,
good idea.
though.
No, we're sticking with the A. I want the harshest.
I don't
He
mind the
needs to
grading
sweat.
scale.
He needs to sweat.
Yeah, well, I like it because I try to each time put a little forethought into this to which ones I think certain people would like, and it's often funny to see. It's weird how things go in your head, and then it's the flip, or a fact that I'm like, I just threw it in there, and it ends up being the best one. It's like there's almost no recipe for the lightning in the bottle. That is the random fact.
Such is life.
Well, that's so I kind of enjoy the thrill of it each week, kind of like Joke Jury as well.
You guys remember a hit song called "Who Let the Dogs Out"?
Yeah.
Lightning in a Bottle. They didn't have another hit.
The Baja Men?
Yeah, the Baja Man. Lightning in a Bottle. Do you know that song's about ugly chicks in a club who let the dogs out? That's what that song's about.
It's so messed up.
That is messed up.
We got our studio audience out there. Make some noise. Yeah.
I couldn't hold it in on that one.
All right, Dennis, give us something else, bud.
Correct.
Well, so it's demonized now, and for good reason. But plastic and petroleum were originally environmental saviors because they eliminated the need to kill whales, elephants, turtles, and many other creatures for materials that they replaced with those. Now, that being said, it's just kind of cool to look at the both sides of the coin, that it's so demonized now, plastic, but it actually did do a lot of good for a long time. So what do you guys think about that?
But now it's killing what it was saving.
Well, absolutely. But I'm saying initially it saved a bunch of animals, and then now we're seeing the repercussions of it. Yeah. It's like a standard thing that we go through here when we create things. It's like a ripple effect.
Yeah, unintended consequences. You know, certain things happen and they make policy and it totally changes things.
Because think, if you look at old toys and stuff, everything was made out of wood and metal. And like if you look at them in black and white photos, they look insanely creepy. Like they just look weird.
So creepy.
But once plastic was invented, everything became plastic. And now we rely on this stuff.
Raggedy Ann doll, fucking horrifying.
Oh.
Raggedy Andy? Is it Raggedy Andy? Is that who it is?
Well, there's both. There's
And
Raggedy
Andy.
Ann and Andy.
Especially when one loses an eye and the string is coming out of the head.
Well, you know, the Annabelle doll is actually a Raggedy Ann doll.
Oh.
The real Annabelle doll.
Horrifying.
Jeez. Well, I think that, what's it called? What's that movie? Child's Play. Chucky? Those are one of the more scary movies to me.
Only the first one.
Ladies and gentlemen, bitch boy Beckett. Fucking Chucky.
Those things scare the hell out of me.
That gets goofy quick, though.
Does
Yeah.
it?
Beckett. It gets so good.
Yeah, the dialogue is.
Oh, that means
Well, you know me. I didn't watch it that long.
Come on.
The first one I'd give you. The first one's kind of creepy.
Well, that's probably what scared me.
Yeah.
Politically incorrect statement of the night. You're talking about the plastic. I'm sorry. Styrofoam soda with crushed ice.
Is the
Terrible
best.
for the planet, but my gosh, great for the taste buds.
Yeah, Boca used to have the mall cokes, and it was like the thing you get for like $1.50, and it was like a big
Yeah.
gulp in the food
Concession
court.
stand Cokes
Oh.
with crushed ice. So syrupy with the Pepsi or Coke.
I walk by 7-Eleven. There's a 7-Eleven by my house. And I walk to that with my dog, and I get the soda fountain. I get a Diet Dr. Pepper.
A diet. Get out of my house. I thought you were doing a cool 7-Eleven store. You're coming at me with some fucking Diet Dr. Pepper?
And they have some bomb snacks. Like
What? Cucumbers?
They have like a granola cheese plate.
Get out of my house!
Well, that's just another example of styrofoam, something that's like bad now. Same with like, look at asbestos, was used so long and it was great for insulation, but now
That's
it's
true.
like,
I'm not going to, no one say the name. Do not say the name, but there was a place that had yoga mat in their bread.
Yes.
And then they took it out. They had the yoga mat ingredient, and they don't have it anymore. And let me tell you, that yoga mat ingredient made the bread taste amazing. Mm-hmm. I love yoga mat.
Well,
I
it's
like the way it tastes, Beckett.
when they used to use trans fats when they made fries and stuff, or what do you call it, like shortening or lard or whatever that stuff is.
Yeah.
All that stuff used to be used, and now we're like, it's just funny how we just learn as we go, and we think everything's so finite.
Well, think about everything you use in your life. It's got to go somewhere. I think people think that it goes in a dumpster, and no, it magically
You ever seen
evaporates.
the trash islands? They're awesome looking. I mean, they look horrible.
They're terrible.
Well, yeah, all right. I get what awesome looking in the sense that you can't believe that much stuff has culminated.
I want to own my own private trash island.
Well, the one guy took all those bottles, filled them with air, and made a floating, like, he lives on it. It's just floating bottles. It's all made from bottles.
Well,
He made his own, like, land.
Every Raggedy Ann doll that's ever been out there that you throw away, they're somewhere.
Some of them get incinerated. A lot of it. That's what smells bad at night when you're driving.
Raggedy Ann dolls.
Gee, they have a Raggedy Ann crematory down the street.
All right, Vicky, grade on that.
I
mean,
I'm gonna
get
give it a
it.
B.
It sparked
I'm
some
gonna give it a B.
conversation.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
she's being lighter because of that email.
No,
No.
she needs to go in. I want blood. No, that email bodes terrible for you, Dennis.
All right, I get it.
Now you got to be
All
fucking
right,
10
all
out of
right.
10.
I feel like it was whatever.
He's using a new grading scale.
I
though.
know, Beckett. Again, you're so controversial.
What do you guys think the mini skirt's named after?
Jason's outfit.
Oh yeah, get up! You got a mini skirt on right now.
How bad did Beckett blow out that speaker?
Oh, dude, it's so loud in the headphones too. I'm sure it peaked. The mini skirt is actually named after the Winnie Cooper. It's designed after the shorter frame of the car, being a mini car, making a mini skirt. They found it to be optimistic.
When did the Mini
exuberant.
Cooper come out?
Long fucking time ago, dude. I don't know. I'm looking it up.
If I said
Well, a
the,
designer saw it in the 1960s.
okay, all right. Okay, if I said the name Winnie Cooper, what show am I talking about?
Wonder
Come on,
Years.
Come
Okay.
Oh, he got it.
I'm usually weak on that stuff, aren't I?
on. So remember last time we went to Barnes & Noble? I can say that, right? We don't know. So we went to Barnes & Noble.
Not trashing them.
Well, you were in the bathroom, and I was standing outside, and they had the math section. I was like, fuck, I'll look at it. So I looked through it, and Winnie Cooper has like 6 books on quantum physics and like how to apply math to your life. Did you know that?
No.
Yes, I did. She is a mathlete.
She's like a
Genius.
mastermind.
She's a genius in the math field.
Jeez, it's so stereotypical,
Isn't that weird?
isn't it?
I had such a crush on her growing up.
Jeez.
Vicky, who was your crush growing up? I think you told.
Scott Baio was my biggest
liked
one.
Scott Baio?
Leif Garrett, Scott Baio, Sean Cassidy.
Oh, shit,
I'm old.
You like the pretty boys. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
My
okay.
taste definitely changed for sure, but that was it back in the day.
Okay, who does it for Vicky now?
Idris Elba.
Who?
Idris Elba.
Oh, okay, yes, okay. Okay, who else?
I mean, some of mine.
Hulk Hogan? Yeah, brother.
No.
I'm totally just kidding. Dude, chicks find Hulk Hogan hot?
I don't
He
know
probably
anybody.
There's
used to.
probably a demo.
Okay, I'm talking about
Used to.
Hulk Hogan in his heyday. Did chicks swoon over Thunder Lips?
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Where they're like, oh my gosh, I just hooked up with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Definitely.
100%.
Okay.
Well, just think about, we were just talking about the other day. You were saying people with talent are automatically, for some reason, become attractive.
Well, people even that are infamous. We've talked about serial killers and how people, like, it's obviously, and thank God, a small segment of people that are attracted. But,
Yeah.
like, it's the infamy, you know? It's like a level of, like, status
They have
outside of, like, the
something.
herd.
Several serial
Yeah.
killer cases that we're talking about, they did. It would spawn off a lot of young females going into court, loving the guy, feeling bad for him. He's misunderstood. Oh my gosh, I can fix him.
Oh, yeah, the fixers.
What's the psychology behind that, Vicky?
Daddy issues.
Beckett.
What is the definition of daddy issues?
Well, you know, it's like a version of Freudian, right?
Well, okay.
So there's mommy issues too, right? Like, and they say that daddy issues are, you know, for example, like something like the dad was never there for him, so then they want, like, they had like an older guy, you know, like that's more of a authoritative figure, for example. That would be an example of daddy issues, but there's a whole laundry list of them.
So you say any issues where there's, distance from the father or over communication, just some sort of abundance or unabundance?
Yeah, I think it's like a learned behavioral pattern, and it's something that, you know, I think that people psychologically, based on how they live, they can say, hey, this happened in my life, so I will treat my kids totally different, or I'll act a totally different way. Or some people have certain situations that happen to them when they're younger, and they end up doing the same thing, right? So there's different psychological effects depending on, you know, how your mentality is. But I definitely think that it's a relationship with a person of the opposite sex that is around in your life, and I think that with, for sure, like, I was raised a lot by my mom, so like I think I had a lot more of a feminine experience in my life. So I feel like when I'm dating, I like a little bit more nurturing, and I'm a little less alpha. It's my theory.
I wonder if that's because I was basically, I mean, my dad was definitely around. And I love my dad. He was a great father. But with that said, I was raised by my mom, Aunt Ann. I had sisters around. I had a lot of women around me constantly. So I wonder if that shapes my perspective. What are your thoughts, Vicky?
It definitely
I would say
does.
for
I just
sure.
think the question is how. I think it definitely does.
Did it work?
So we
could go one
negative?
way or the other.
So
Negative
do
or
we all
positive?
agree that women bring a different set of skills to the table than men?
Oh,
do
yeah.
we all agree on that?
100%.
Or
agree.
okay,
I feel like each-
That's why I'm straight.
Each gender does stuff differently.
Yeah, I mean, that should not be a controversial statement. Yet sometimes it can be. If you say that women and men both are equally as talented and their place in this world, but they are different.
Totally.
There are some people that are gonna try to fucking rip your throat out.
Yeah.
And then there's the people that kind of, you know, walk on that line. I mean, a lot of my behaviors are more like how a man would react to something, because some of my friends took a vote and they swear that I'm British because I don't show a lot of emotion. I'm not romantic. I'm not any of those kind of things, which typically is what you find is attributed to males.
Nobody saw it, but when me and Vicky had our spat a couple weeks ago, she took a punch at me.
Little kick under the table.
I kid.
I think that's what everybody's getting annoyed with these days. Are these like generalizations of everybody?
Yes. Identity politics, and you say, I speak for everybody because, okay, it'd be, for example, if me being Italian, I'm Jason Pennington, I'm Italian, and I speak for all Italians. Bull fucking shit. No, I don't.
Or even like, say you get cut off by a kid who's on his phone. You'd be like, fucking millennial, you know? Like, you're just automatically tagging an entire, and that has a connotation to it. Whether you're using it negatively or positively, but it's so general. It can apply to anything. You can almost apply it to any dicky action you want.
And I feel like when it comes to everything in life, religion, politics, relationships, everybody is an onion, and nobody's going to be black or white. It's just there's going to be some kind of crossover on some level for a majority of people. That's at least how I feel.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that we're not being honest if we don't think that certain groups tend to gravitate towards things more. Like, I think, for example, men, I'm sure there's some research on it, men are more challenged with monogamy than females. And that's not saying every male isn't romantic, isn't faithful, whatever. I just think if you look at the data and based on just observing your guy friends, your girlfriends, being in relationships, men typically have a tougher time being monogamous.
Can I challenge you on that for
Yeah.
a second? Now, are you going with stats? Are you going with just your own personal belief? Are you going with just the fact that maybe the media or society says that? Or do you know from, do you know?
Personal experience.
Yeah, personal experience.
I'm going on experience with my guy friends and girlfriends and growing up. I haven't looked up data, but I would be willing to make a bet like that. Well, actually, then you'd have to poke holes on how it's reported. And
Vicky, what are your thoughts on that? Because I tend to disagree with Mr. Beckett on
I
this.
think women are hoes too.
Yeah.
I mean, just as equally, I think that women just may not advertise it as much.
Boom, right there.
Really?
We got to get away
Yeah.
from this whole thing that where men are this just sex-driven pack, and that's always. There are women out there who are very sexual, and human beings. They lie, they cheat, they steal, they do bad things. Human beings do. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I love Vicky's point because I agree with it. It's not advertised. It's not as sexy to say women have those thoughts, but
well, so I would say this, like,
dinner last night.
here's
your boy doesn't have a microphone. It's kind of fucking me up.
what I would say is that there is data of murder, right? And most murders are committed by males between the age of 18 and 26.
But you're comparing murder.
Yeah. So where's your hoe data?
Yeah, that is such a
That's
different.
what we're asking for.
Well, that's just me saying, okay, Beckett, people who kick their dog versus robbers of banks, it's completely different.
But
It's
you,
different.
but you've told me you don't think that there's anything as bad as murder except cheating. Like you said, that
No, that's not true. If I said that, I was either really drunk or really stoned on accident from Denny's contact high. 'Cause I've not admitted to anything. But yeah,
but it's-
I just think that and me being in the media, I get a lot of pushback from people because they think I'm associated with a certain, and I'm not. I really am not associated with anything. I'm just saying I know that media has an agenda, and I know what gets clicks. Even the KVJ show, we have an agenda. We do things to get people to listen to our show. I'm wearing a fucking Dolphins outfit everywhere I go because I want people to come back and check out the KVJ show. We all have a thing, and I think that there is a thing where I just think there's a thing where a lot of things aren't being reported on. There's a narrative that's not completely true on a lot of things, not just men are evil and women are these. The other thing too, the media likes to make it out like women are these helpless women who don't have a fucking backbone, who can't stand up for themselves, and that is not true. If you're raised by an Italian family with Italian women, you know they don't put up with shit.
but you're not speaking for all Italians.
I'm not speaking for all Italian. Touche. Well played, Beckett. I am not speaking for all Italian. I'm just, again, categorizing. I'm a hypocrite.
Well, going back, you had originally asked the question about why women are attracted to like serial killers and things like that. And this kind of ties in because my answer is going to be a little more basic than his. Women are pretty shallow sometimes. And if they're good looking, they're just going to go and try to get their attention. And then on top of that, you have a lot of women who I think more so than a lot of men have the white knight syndrome. They want to save, and you touched on this. They want to save that person. They think that they can be the one to change them. And I think actually, I'm going to get in trouble because you just made a comment, but I think more
Get in
women
trouble. Let's get in trouble.
actually suffer from white knight syndrome than a lot of men do.
Women
because
wanna save
we
men.
want to fix, we want to save.
Do you think that does happen with men,
Want to
though?
change.
There are some men out there that want to save.
There are some,
Yeah.
and you'll find that phenomena actually with men who hire prostitutes. They're not just hiring them for sex. They're hiring them because they want to establish a little bit of relationship and then change them and make them grateful that they have changed their life.
If you're a 75-year-old guy, you're not just hiring this hooker or prostitute. I didn't mean hooker. That's not the right word.
Damn, Bird.
Don't email me.
2019, dog.
I know. A prostitute or a call girl. If you are, a call girl and the guy's paying for that, yeah, he wants the sex, but he also wants you to tell him, yeah, you're ugly, gross, old balls. Don't look that old. They're not that gross.
I heard
even though they are, Beckett.
I had an interesting perspective on it. Guys don't pay prostitutes for sex, they pay them to leave.
Oh,
Classic line,
Thank you.
dog.
2004 call. That's such
I had just heard it.
You just heard that?
That's such an old line. That's Charlie Sheen's line.
That's a great line, though.
It makes sense.
But no, I think there is. It all goes down to personalities, man. There's some people that are really great with being hooked up with somebody in a relationship. I think there's some people that get lonely, that want a relationship temporarily, and they're like,
I would totally get attached to
get the fuck out. Yeah,
I would get attached.
You would be Richard Gere in Pretty Woman.
That's right. 100%. That'd be
And
awesome.
you would save her.
Save
you
her.
white knight shining armor, motherfucker.
Take her out to Wellington to a polo match. Let her woot woot.
I think we'll see a trend change, though, in relationships coming up.
What is this trend you speak
Well,
of?
I think that it's going to start trending to people living like more domestic partnerships than actual being married in a relationship. I think people want to experience, the connection with somebody and the stability of it, but they also want to have complete free time and do their own thing. I think the newer generation is very big about their free time.
And that's different than somebody who is with somebody that doesn't want to get married, that wants to go fuck around with other people. I think there still needs to be a commitment to somebody. If you like that person,
I'm
get
saying I don't
married.
think they're going out and hooking up with other people. I think people are domestically living together and they'll hook up, but they're not in a partnership.
Yeah. Okay. So they're not in a partnership in the sense of where
Where they're like through the law, like
Okay.
they're not married.
but they in just layman's terms they
they
are.
live together.
If you cheat, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you would be dissolving that. But I've seen with especially, I guess, I don't know, the cost of living is very expensive, so roommates are real big. A lot of people live in like cohabited, either like getting one place and there's 4 different people living in it, or they're getting like communities and living in it,
If we had a 10-room mansion, everybody in this room right now, could we all live together and be peaceful? 10-room mansion, we all have lunches together, a couple snacks at times.
We didn't have to eat together.
Yeah.
I mean, your guy, again, is off the fucking microphone. The
My
audience is going to be
stepbrother.
confused. Your brother's just saying shit. Just so you know, if you're listening back home, Beckett brought his stepbrother, and his stepbrother, who we love. He's great. Makes some noise. He just keeps screaming shit out to the
That's what happened when he lived with me.
ramblings of a madman. I love it.
I don't know. I think you could probably get through.
As long as we have our own space.
Yeah, I think we all could get. I think I could live with all of you guys as long as I could go to my own little area.
Yeah.
Do my own little thing, and then when I'm ready, let's have a fucking snack party. Let's watch movies.
Yeah, I think we're all laid back enough.
Let's be friends.
Yeah. Could you do it with Kevin and Virginia? I think.
I think if we had the same criteria, I could not live in a room with Virginia.
Okay.
I couldn't live in a room with Kevin.
Yeah.
I'm a different animal. They're different animals. We're similar, but we're very different. It'd have to be our own separate rooms. With all of y'all, though, I could probably only live with Denny's in one room.
But that means Jen's going to be there too, right?
I could live with Denny's and Jen in a room. Yeah, I really could. Now, could they live with me? It's a different question. But yeah, I could live with them for sure. But that's about it, man. Or my blood, my family.
Yeah.
And even then, they'd be fucking sick of my ass. Couple other emails going on here. We've got... Oh, you know what? Not an email. I forgot a bit we were supposed to do. Impromptu, scary story, 30 seconds or less. Beckett did it last week.
I did do it last week.
Yeah, he did.
Does that mean you make me do it again?
So what this is no one has any kind of preparation. You have 30 seconds to just give an impromptu, scary ghost tale. And who am I going to pick today? Let's see. 3, 2, 1. Denny's go.
It was dark and spooky. The wind was howling. There was a cat, but it was a ghost cat. He came from the graveyard and he hung out with some vampires. And then a man with a mask walked in.
Got a mask.
And he had an axe. And he killed the woman. When she woke up...
Thank you, Vicky.
But when she woke up as a ghost, the cat was alive.
Meow.
Good job, Beckett. Keep going. Keep going.
And they all lived happily together. It's so hard to think of a story.
No, that was good.
Beckett's was good last week too.
I don't know. I thought
I don't know if I remember. I think I blacked out.
No, I think the audience did too. No, this is all good. Even if it sucks, it's good.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
That's my jokes, my dancing, and my game.
Yeah.
It's so bad that it works, I think, sometimes.
There's so much shit we
my
do.
game less, but...
We try so much shit on the morning show because we have to be on the air for 4 hours a day. There's so much stuff that doesn't work that is so cringy that you're like, fuck, I said that. Move along, Bert. Just move along. Don't think about it. It gives you your balls, baby.
Totally, yeah.
That's the weird thing is you'll prepare something that you think's gonna crush and it doesn't, and then stuff that you don't prepare, or it doesn't always work out that way, but stuff you don't think necessarily is gonna hit as hard. Like it's just so weird how you can't gauge it.
Totally. Like, there was a Dave Chappelle stand-up. I don't know if it was the most recent one before, but, he's, like, neurotic about cell phones, and he locks up your cell phones, that whole deal. Someone got it passed, and it was someone that was sitting in the front row or one of the front rows. In the middle of the stand-up, a phone starts ringing, and the whole crowd goes, oh. Anyways, he turned it into a joke, and it ended up being, well, I'm sure if you're like, hey, do you want a phone to ring in the middle of your stand-up? You'd be like, absolutely not. But you look at the Netflix special, and it was like one of the funnier parts. And
yes.
He's a genius, don't get me wrong, but how he reacted to it and when it all came, it was perfect, know, so it's unexpected. It was great.
One of my greatest radio regrets ever is when we had Norm Macdonald in. Did I tell you this story? We had Norm Macdonald in. He was super high. And at this point, we had a lot of problems with comedians. They didn't want to be there. They were pissy. They just they just sucked. They were terrible. So Norm Macdonald comes in, and again, we had some baggage mentally. He reeks of weed. I mean, reeks of weed. And Kevin's asking him all these kind of questions about the roast he was on, and he is not giving anything. So he appears like he's coming off like a dick. I should have realized he was so high and stoned, and I got a little bitchy and kind of, I didn't go with the funny angle. I went with the dicky angle. And I always regret that, because if I would have just tried to be a little bit more relaxed and had fun with it, it could have been a great moment. Because he was stoned, and all I had to say was, Norm, are you stoned right now? And it would have been a great moment, but I was being a bitch. I was a bitch.
Maybe you should message him and see if you can get him back.
I don't know. I don't know.
You've moved on.
I don't
Remember 9 years ago?
I'm not a big fan of interviewing famous people, man. They make me uncomfortable. I have zero things in common with them, and you can always tell they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Some of them get off a real big I don't want to be here vibe.
Definitely. So you're in the middle of this thing where you're trying to make something happen uncomfortably, and you know they don't want to be there, and so you're just like, fuck this.
Has anyone shocked you and was absolutely like more cool than you expected?
Bob Saget.
Bob
Bob
Saget.
Yeah,
Saget,
that
one
guy
of the
was
coolest
super
comedians
cool.
out there.
Really?
Sinbad.
It was good.
Such a cool dude. Down to earth. Yep. Jay Moore. Very down to earth. Those kind of comedians. Very, very cool.
Nice.
Here's an email. Title is Gun Pulled Out on Me. Dear Weird Whenever, I recently had a gun pulled out on me. A guy flashed a gun at me as he drove by my house and said, "You're lucky I don't shoot you, buddy." I feel like I should have done a voice there. A guy flashed a gun at me and said, "You're lucky I didn't shoot you, buddy." He pulled it out for about 3 seconds and then sped off. It was awful. I was wondering if you guys had ever had a gun pulled out on you. That's Mark from Orlando. I have. I think Denny's has.
Yeah, twice.
I think we both have stories on this. Twice?
Yeah.
What's your
In
story?
a cul-de-sac, we were picking up some bud, and this guy we never met before was standing outside, and he did the thing where he lifts his shirt up and the gun's tucked into his. And I was like, "All right, motherfucker."
So why did he do that?
I don't know. He was trying to be tough. We were meeting so I was meeting another friend at a cul-de-sac, and he had this guy come out too because he didn't know my other friend. Yeah, cul-de-sacs. He always met there because they always had the light like in the middle to illuminate. It was really
So you
easy to
walk
see.
up. Okay, so you're there to get
Well,
weed.
I drove up. I pulled up, and I seen it. I was like, "All right." So
you're just there to get weed.
Well, I'm there to meet my friend who's also meeting this guy who I
Okay.
had never met before. And I think he was just trying to like establish dominance type thing.
Got ya.
It's kind of shitty. And at another completely separate time,
So that was that you just showed it to you. That was
yeah,
it?
he was
All
just trying to flash it to be cool. And then the other one was at a picnic by the guy I used to buy pot from, in front of his entire family, dude. This guy was insane.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
So what happened?
Well, so I mean, I've told the story before.
Yeah, but new audience, dog.
I hear you. Well, so I used to buy weed from this guy. He actually supplied weed for me and a bunch of other people. And I used to sell to like all my college professors and stuff and a lot of my friends and colleagues that I went to school with. But he also dealed a lot in cocaine as well with a whole different crew of people that I didn't really have much ties with. Well, one of my friends kind of transitioned over to the other side. So he was kind of doing it for both, whatever. Well, so we ended up getting really cool with this guy, and he was like a family dude who didn't really deal with it. He would just get it. He was like in control of it, whatever. So anyway, we got to the point where we were pretty cool. Well, one time he invited me over for a picnic with like his whole family, friends. It was like some big ordeal. He had like catering and everything. It was really nice. Well, anyway, in the middle of the picnic, he like starts like questioning me about shit, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, so it was actually my friend who transitioned over selling cocaine. He actually started getting a little bit shady, and since he knew that I knew the guy and he transitioned over there, he thought I was involved with it. So in the middle of the freaking picnic, I guess to, again, establish some sort of, like, power over everybody. And dude's pretty scary, don't get me wrong. But he, like, kicked me down to the ground and, like, held a gun to me.
Oh, my
and,
God.
like, yeah, it was pretty fucked up.
Can you believe that? Denny's is fucking
He's like, don't
hard.
fuck with me. Well, anyway, he ended up getting with the kid who was really ripping him off, and you know, I never really followed up on that
Did
stuff.
he pistol whip you?
Yeah, he pistol whipped me. He kicked me, pistol whipped me. It was pretty rough.
So so people who are just tuning in, what is the definition of pistol whipping?
Well, so you pull your gun out, you brandish your weapon, and then you hit somebody with the bottom of it in their face
Oh my god!
when they're not expecting
You
it.
got hit in the face.
It's rough, yeah. Well, it was actually like the
my
back top of my head, yeah. After I had gotten kicked, yeah, it was pretty rough.
Yeah.
Anybody who wants to see that, there's a scene in Goodfellas.
Yes.
Where
Well,
he
so-
picks up the girlfriend and pistol whips the guy.
So I guess everybody at the picnic is kind of like privy to this guy's reputation or whatever. So it was kind of like everybody was quiet for a second, and then it kind of just went back, and he was just like, you know, don't fuck with me. And so I called my friend, and I was like, dude, what the fuck?
Did you ever see him again?
Yeah, actually I did, because he apologized for getting the wrong.
He was coming down. He's like, "Ugh, bro, I'm sorry.
So what'd you do? Did you get up and get some potato salad, or did you leave?
I know. What do you do?
What do you do after
It's a picnic. Do you get rich?
Well, it was rough, so we were.
Yeah, what happens?
Well, so it was real awkward. He walked away, and so I was kind of, you know, I know some of the people there.
You stayed?
Well, for a little bit there, because I kind of had to like. Well, I was
That's
there.
my exit to get out of there.
Well, I mean, I was there with other people too, so I had to kind of get my transportation and everything. Like, I didn't really want to go into too much details, but yeah, I mean, I was there with other people as well. It was a whole thing.
Wow.
It turned into a big thing.
That's when I would go sober.
Yeah, he after that, I kind of was, you know, after he apologized and everything, it was kind of split our separate ways. You know, I kind of didn't really want to mess with me. He gave me like this really nice gift that I pawned. It was really
So
just for money.
I like getting debate. I like getting the feedback from the audience. John Dool in the chat room says this. I want Vicky to respond. Vicky looks uninterested in Denny's weed stories. Vicky response.
That one was escalated.
No, I'm sitting here thinking, who would beat poor little Sweet Denny's?
Sweet Denny's.
Sweet Denny's.
But was he always Sweet Denny's? That's the
Obviously not.
Well, yeah, I definitely would get the hookup on, like, you know.
No, and just to
weed,
respond,
ecstasy.
that's my face 99% of the time. It's either resting bitch face or I look really bored. One or the other. There's no in between.
People get mad at Kevin because Kevin has murder face.
Yes. Resting kill face.
I got a gun pulled on me one time. I was driving down PJ Boulevard by the Mobile. If you live in Palm Beach Gardens, you'll know what I'm talking about. I was driving west on PJ Boulevard, right by the Mobile, as you're crossing the turnpike. And I had my dad's Caprice, and it was such a big car, I couldn't drive it. I was swerving all over. So I was about 21 years old. Cop pulls me over, and I had my wallet underneath my seat. So the cop pulls me over. I'm like, son of a bitch, cops. I go under and grab my wallet, and all of a sudden, he has his gun drawn. Flat top cop for sure. He goes, put your hands up! don't you ever reach for anything. Like, I'm just getting my wallet. And then that all goes on. I explained to him, I'm just getting my wallet, blah, blah, blah. He goes, hold on. He goes back to his car, and it was like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of a thing. He was the nicest, calmest person. Okay, well, I'm going to give you a warning, sir. Just be careful. Just don't grab your wallet.
Wow.
It was almost like he went to his car and calmed himself down.
Wow.
But it was fucking creepy, man.
Yep.
He hit the gun right in my face.
Crazy.
All because I went underneath my seat.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Gotta be careful.
Yeah.
A little FYI. Beckett, you never had a gun pulled on you?
Nope.
Only guns you got pulled on you is the ones on your arm, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
No, I don't even let people pointing a squirt gun at me. It's messed up.
So, do you guys want to hear a couple tales of the scariest murders ever to happen on a Halloween night, or is that too real?
That's fine for
No,
me.
I-
You better ask bitch boy.
Damn.
Bitch boy Beckett, Vicky's calling you out, dog.
We should look and see who that Twitter or that email is from, because it's just it's stuck so well.
From back in the day.
Yeah, from back in the day.
Screw that hater.
That's awesome.
So there's a lot. Some of these. So I pulled up. I googled worst murders ever to happen on Halloween night. A lot of them are kind of sad. I don't know if I want to
Yeah,
read
dude.
all of them.
Yeah, the Pixie Stick one.
What's that one?
That's actually the one where the whole legend of your Halloween candy being poisoned, that's where the urban legend came from.
That's a real story?
Yeah, it's a real story.
What year is this from? Because that's not on my list.
I want to say it's like in late 70s, early 80s, something like that. And I believe it was in Texas. And some kids went trick-or-treating, and they came back, and they had some Pixy Sticks or Pick Sticks, whatever they call them, and, the powder. And then they, the son ended up passing away, and he got it at such and such house, whatever. It was actually the dad.
The dad did
The
it?
dad poisoned those, and he thought that somebody would be blamed in the neighborhood instead of him.
Wow.
And he did it basically for the life insurance. And he actually intended to kill both children, I believe, but it was only the son that consumed enough to kill him.
Wow.
And that's where part of the urban legend that, people poison candy and stuff, it came from that particular incident, but he had only poisoned the one that he had given his children.
So
Damn.
back in the day, was it just media hoopla with all of the razor blades, or was there a legit crisis going on? Because I remember the scare. I remember how horrifying it was, but I don't remember any real stories coming out where people were legit eating razor blades with their candy.
Yeah, I don't
Do you?
remember. I don't remember any specific ones.
I don't either.
But I think it kind of stemmed from from that particular
Pixy Stick.
episode, and then it just you know how people, it's like the telephone game
Oh,
where
yeah.
it starts off like this and then it ends up this big and totally changed.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened to it.
That's damn good. Better than anything I got over here. What's your guy doing?
I don't know. He's going for a walk.
Your guy just left. He's making a big noise. Your fucking boy's ruining the pot. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But he is kind
He
of.
lived with me for 2 years, and people wonder why I'm still single.
I mean, he's just screaming shit at me. Vicky's got a point. He's like, no, I declare this. All right, so in 2009, this is one of the creepier stories. In 2009, 3 teenage girls were abducted by a man with a gun on their way home from trick-or-treating in Woodbridge, Virginia. All 3 were taken at gunpoint to a wooded area, and 2 were sexually assaulted. The 3rd girl was able to call her mother, causing the man to flee. 2 years later, police arrested Aaron Thomas, who was already a suspect in numerous sexual assault cases since 1997. Thomas pleaded guilty 2012 to all 3 kidnappings. I mean, Halloween night, you're just doing trick-or-treating. That's so fucked up. To me, you get prison at a torturous level. I'm sorry.
Right. And look at how long it took for them to actually catch him and convict him.
It's such shit. They get the good. So if you're able to go to bed and have a cozy night of sleep, that's too many amenities for me. Mm-hmm. If you've done such despicable things to innocent people,
Yep.
if you're able to have cozy dreams, fuck that.
Yeah. I think jail is kind of an easy way off. I actually, not to digress too much, capital punishment's way too easy off, I think, on some
I do
people,
too.
I definitely think that they need to, be in isolation, soak in it, think about it, not have conjugal visits, not Jeffrey Dahmer, whoever, get the girl
I can't believe
pregnant.
they do conjugal.
Crazy.
Ted Bundy got
Ted Bundy,
So
like,
Ted
crazy.
Bundy got his wife. He not only did he get her pregnant in prison, he got to marry her legally in prison, in court, because there was a judge there. That's not fun. You mean to tell me we can't get a judge to say, "Now this rule does not apply to Ted fucking Bundy"?
Right.
God,
Insane.
that is insane.
Danny, you sound really mad. Keep ranting.
God, that makes me so mad.
Dennis, calm down.
Yeah, I can't believe they have conjugal visits. Like, wouldn't you think that'd be like the first right you lose?
Yes. Yes.
That one always perplexed me.
Totally.
Even if you rob a bar, you don't get to get conjugal visits.
Because that's a punishment.
Yes.
They should make it so they can't even masturbate. Like that should be like
Beckett,
Beckett.
that.
Get off your pedestal, Beckett.
Get off your holy hill, Beckett.
We'll stop conjugal first. We'll work on that later.
Yeah, exactly. One step at a time.
You guys want to do a quick round of Would You Rather?
Yep.
All right. 3 questions tonight.
All right.
Just 3. Would you rather always sound like you are creepily seducing someone anytime you talk? Meaning, okay, for example, if you have to talk to your boss. Okay, Vicky, you have a principal. Hey, how's it going? Oh, is that paddle hard? You'd always have to, with anybody you're at Publix. Ooh, a foot long. I could use a foot long. With everybody you come in contact with, or you have to call 911 every single day, 3 times a day, and scream obscenities to everybody on 911 for the rest of your life.
I think you'd be arrested, so...
That's why you have to continuously do it. That's why it's tough. Every single day you get arrested, the next day you're calling the motherfucking 911.
I'm going with dirty talk.
Yep, dirty talk.
Dirty talk.
Creepily
Yeah.
every time you talk.
Okay, Becky, let's do a little role playing right now. You're doing a business deal for a horse
Company.
house.
A horse or a person?
I don't know what the fuck you sell.
Horse house.
What do you sell? Horses?
Horse farm?
Horse farm, okay. I am the person you're selling it to. You have to make it creepily, sexually innuendo like you're hitting on me. So I'll start off the role playing. I love this horse farm. Sturdy horses.
Do you want to put your stud in this barn?
What do you mean by that? Why are you laughing, you fucking weirdo? I'm trying to do a deal. I'm a serious businessman.
Please, we're going to make this contract go hard right away.
What does that mean?
It means that this will be the best experience you've ever had.
And time out. First of all, no. We're going to do this whole scenario again.
You gotta be creepy.
You are talking like Beckett with some weird, You have to be like this. Oh, it's going to be hard. You have to talk creepily. So let's do this again. Oh, I love this horse house. It's sturdy barning.
Do you want to put your hard stud in one of these stables?
What does that mean, Ryan?
It means that you can walk in hard anytime you want.
You got to go more creepy.
It's hard to go
No,
creepy.
you're still too Beckett.
Get real creepy.
All right, let's do Denny's. All right, Denny's. Show 'em how it's done. All right, so you're going to the doctor. All right. The doctor comes in. Hello, producer Denny's. I have your chart. Things are looking somewhat healthy, but there's some work to be done.
Oh yeah, I hurt. Real bad. It's nasty.
I heard.
Well, because I'm at the doctor. Why else would I go? Right?
I heard. And why did you turn into Nick Nolte?
Real bad.
I hurt real bad. That's
Real
what
bad. Like real naughty.
All right.
All right, we can reset. What do you want to do?
Let's reset. Okay, we're not the doctor's office
All
anymore.
right, because that one's weird anyway.
You are now at Publix, and you cannot find any chicken noodle soup. You see an older woman who's working there, and you have to ask her about chicken noodle soup. So I'm going to be over here. I'm the older woman. Oh, I'm just working on my soup, yes.
Hey, ma'am, nice chickens. Yeah. With your, is that a bone to make a stew? Because chicken bones are used for that. To make a stock. I don't know. Are those bones? That's an innuendo, bro.
Don't you ever call me bro. Ever.
I'm throwing innuendos. Maybe not as many as Beckett. But.
Pedro Lopez says this. Jaybird needs to come out of the closet already. Pedro, so many people think I'm gay. I'm not gay. I do love women. I don't know what to tell you. But thanks for the comment.
Yeah, let's set up a scene for you now.
Okay. Well, someone's got. Oh, no. I'm last. It's time for Vicky. Okay, Vicky, we're at school. I am the principal. Yes, I am. And okay, here we go. Hello, Vicky. I gotta tell you, the progress reports were oh so sloppy.
Oh, really? I really tried my best.
That's good.
Give me something better than that. Come on.
I mean, sloppy. We could have got really. All right, I'm sorry.
Were they sticky too?
That's good.
That's what we wanted. It pains Vicky so bad to go down to this level of just credence. I love it. All right, Denny's, give it to me now. Give me the whole scenario.
All right, so you're at a theme park.
Like an Epcot.
Like Rapids?
Oh, there you go. You're at the Rapids.
Let's not do Rapids with our client.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's go ahead and do something.
You're at Old Town in Orlando.
Is that okay? All right.
It's not gonna work if you've never been there.
I've never been, but this is going well.
Yeah, jeez. All right, so you're at what's a
Gardens.
famous one? Busch Gardens. You're at Busch Gardens. You're by the giraffes, and there's some fine trim. So how would you go up to her and tell her about giraffes?
So you see that giraffe neck?
Oh yeah.
It is so stiff and long, and it belongs in a bush. Yeah.
That's real good.
No, it's not.
I thought that was the best one.
No, it's not the best one. All right, who feels dirty? Raise your hand if you feel dirty.
How does it all start?
Everybody feels dirty.
And sticky.
Oh, there you go. Vicky. So we all pick creepily seducing boys.
Yeah,
That was our answer.
I think I do actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
I think
too.
I have to be creepily seductive. Ariel, you're on the hot seat. People want to know what. Denny, do you mind sliding out for a couple minutes? Come on down. Ariel, people want to know what's going on with this dating game. We had one seeker out for your affection. What happened? And do you not like the dating game? Is it making you uncomfortable? Do you want to squash it? Where are you at in your dating life?
I think we just need more contestants.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it, but we've only had like one person.
Okay, in 10 seconds again, give us your little dating bio. 3, 2, oh, let's start it over. 9, 8, no,
Nah.
all right, and go.
Well, I'm just looking for someone to spend not the rest of my life with. Let's start from, let's just go on a date.
But you could, I mean, if the
Yeah,
rest of your life
eventually.
happened,
If the rest of my life happens, great, fantastic.
a soulmate's not out of the question.
Exactly. But for right now, I'm just looking for someone to get to know, to get to experience life with, this journey, in the next few years, see where it goes.
Question.
But yes.
You have dinner with this guy. You guys, you really like this guy. Good looking guy, great dresser, smells great. Then you go to the movie. So we're about 3 hours into the date now. And you're really feeling the vibe of this guy. An hour into the movie, he tries to hold your hand. Do you get creeped out or do you go for it if you're feeling it?
If I'm feeling it, yeah, I'll go for it.
Ow! Ooh, ooh, yeah, okay. Vicky and Ariel, very sassy tonight.
Calm down. It was just a hand.
I'm saying.
Okay. Very, very, very good. And real quick, what kind of guy are you looking for when it comes to sense of humor?
You have to make me laugh.
Is it
Whether it's being sarcastic.
sick humor? No.
I have a very wide range of funny. So if you can make me laugh using any humor that you have, then we're set.
I love it. Anybody want to do any follow-up questions?
Well, I would say that tomorrow night, if she could come to Cocktails and Karaoke, that would be a great time for people to apply in person for this position.
Okay, yes, I'll be there with
What
my
time
mother.
is cocktails and
Bitch boy, are you going? Because people want to see you.
What time?
I always get
It's always the same time
What time?
7 and 9.
at Brother Jimmy's.
Yeah, I think I can make it at the end. Where's Brother Jimmy's?
in City Place.
Do you have to go to the Netherlands to save zebras that just were born?
I'm going to the TED Talk thing in Boca tomorrow, but yeah, I think I can come at
TED
the
Talk. Of course you're going to a fucking TED Talk. Get out of my house. Gosh, you're so put together.
until you look behind the curtain.
With that said, that's anybody, brother. With that said, I do like me some TED Talks,
Oh, they're
but
great.
I always feel like people who are listening to TED Talks are people who are barely hanging on, and they're like, I gotta get my life together. TED Talk, help me save myself.
Motivation. TED Talk.
Definitely. When I am listening to TED Talks, that means I'm in a severe depression, and I have to get my shit together.
Yeah. Well, maybe that says it all for why I'm going.
I'm not saying you're depressed. I think we all as humans are slightly depressed to a certain level.
Totally.
I do. Am I off on that?
No, not at all.
Everybody walking this plane slightly depressed. It's some heavy shit going on here.
Yeah. You're exposed. I forgot what I'm not going to try and do a Denny's random fact, but the one issue of a Sunday New York Times is more information than someone came across in their entire life in the mid 1800s. So there was I'll fact check that, but it was something like that. It was something like that in terms of like how much information that we're getting and interaction, virtually, electronically, in person, because we can travel, we can meet more people. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
Very good. Okay, Ariel, thank you very much. We're going to, if you want to submit a picture, we want a picture. Don't send me no email of, I think Ariel's great, and I'm John from Port St. Lucie, and I'm 38, and I'm not going to send a picture because I'm fucking creepy. No, send a picture.
What's the criteria? So they send the picture, they tell a little about themselves.
It's all up to Ariel. Ariel says what she's comfortable with.
And do we have a pre-selected date spot? Do they suggest it as part of their application, or it's just carte blanche?
I mean, geez, Beckett, I'm not on trial. Why are you cross-examining?
Well, what does she want?
It's up to Ariel.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll look at your picture, get a vibe from like the eyes, what I'm seeing, what I'm
You're
gathering.
big on the eyes.
Yes, because that's where a lot of information is about a person.
I agree with that.
Vicky,
So,
thoughts on that?
Yep. That I always ask when people send me a picture of somebody they want me to connect with. They always say I would prefer one where I can see their eyes.
Vicky, what do you see in my eyes? That's it. I get nothing. Come on, Vicky.
You know I was going to say something smart, Alex, so I'm not going to.
Yeah. Despair. Okay, another would you rather question. Would you rather fight for your life against Freddy Krueger or Pennywise the Clown?
I'd fight Freddy.
I haven't seen many Pennywise fights, so I'm going with Freddy Krueger.
Nobody's shocked that you couldn't handle Pennywise the Clown, Beckett. No, we should watch it together.
Okay.
I would love to. I love how we always talk about these things we're going to do that we never
need
do
to
together.
do it.
I know. So the reason why we canceled the podcast yesterday, we had to do the Virginia the Witch song that took about 3 or 4 days to do, and unfortunately, KVJ stuff always has to take precedent over the weird and whatever. We tried our best to not make it, when we get to ratings books and holidays, unfortunately, the weird and whatever does suffer. So I apologize for the inconvenience on that.
Just one of the nights we'll just stay longer. We'll just stay longer and watch the movie, bring some popcorn, some
But
Diet Dr.
I
Pepper.
mean, next Halloween.
But what you're saying is that we're basically your side bitch. Is what you're saying.
Unfortunately, I don't want you to be my side bitch, but yeah, you are my side bitch.
Okay.
No, you're not my side bitch. You know what I mean. I don't. None of us are making any money on this podcast. KVJ keeps the fucking lights on. So
They're the reason we have this equipment.
Exactly. Yeah. But believe me, this is not the B team by any means. I truly love everybody involved in this podcast. I know that me and Vicky had a disagreement, but I even texted you. You have arguments with friends and family. You do. I mean,
Yeah.
we're always me and Denny's have had arguments. I have fights with everybody.
I'm actually non-confrontational to a fault. My brother, not my stepbrother, my younger brother was working with me at my real estate firm, and there was just kind of like unspoken tension. And finally, like I avoided it for so long, and then finally I went, and because I always had to walk on eggshells
Sure.
with him. And finally, like we had it out to the point where the waiter wasn't coming over and pouring our coffee kind of thing.
Why was there a problem?
There was just tension because I felt like he was underachieving because I love him and I have him like such a high bar, and I felt like he was underachieving. And I don't feel like he thought that I was supporting him enough in his role, where I thought you're a free range chicken, you should go out and hustle like I did. So I was probably projecting my personality on him and expecting and whatever. But the point of the story is that afterwards, we hugged and he was like, "Oh, that's like one of the best conversations we've ever had."
Yeah, I feel like, especially when you have friends and family that you're very close with, if you do have a bit of a disagreement or it gets weird, if you're able to be mature enough, which everybody here is, I feel like, we're all closer. I love this podcast. I love this team, and I want to do great things, and I want everybody to be comfortable. And again, if the bottom line is, if Vicky, if you do not want to release the footage to the point where you're like, Jason, I don't want to do it, we won't do that.
Well, the DVR is in Denny's hands, and
Yeah.
as soon as he figures out which cord to use and figure out how to get it off.
I think you need to use
as far
those
as
little
that-
prong ones.
But I just want you to know,
Yeah, it's kind of old school.
going into all this, we all support you, Vicky, and ain't nobody fucking with you. Can I get an amen on that?
Amen.
Hey, hallelujah. All right, one last would you, I got to get Denny's over here. Denny's, would you rather Pennywise or Freddy Krueger?
Freddy Krueger. It's all actually Pennywise.
You don't have to yell, Denny's. And you don't have to be so indecisive. What, are you running for office? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, last question, then we're going to wrap this bitch up. Would you rather have your private parts turn into meatloaf for the rest of your life? So if you were getting busy, Beckett, with a hot-ass girl, and she's going, down.
You just want some ketchup on it?
She is, she's going to find meatloaf down there, and it's sad. Or have extremely horrible, bloody gums where it's visible to the point where you're sitting with somebody and it just seeps out of your mouth.
Bloody gum.
You take bloody gums?
Over no penis?
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
You have one. It's just
Blasphemy.
out of meatloaf.
How big's the loaf?
Is it impressive?
The loaf is mushy and the gums are very bloody. So if you're sitting with somebody, you can't help it. Blood's coming out of your mouth.
Yeah, I'm going
And,
with
and it tastes like blood. Even when you're eating turkey tetrazzini, it tastes like blood.
Yeah, I'm going bloody gums.
Vicky.
I'll take the meatloaf.
Meatloaf private parts.
I can't talk of blood and ew.
It's a good point. Denny's, meatloaf private parts or bloody ass mouth. Think of your wife.
Yeah, I hear you. I'll probably do the meatloaf private parts.
Denny's, think of your wife.
Well, do they come back if anything happens to
you
it?
have meatloaf dick.
Trying
for
to
the
find like a
rest of-
Beckett,
well, no,
Beckett
Dude,
loophole.
when
No,
you
the-
take off your pants, it just... If Jen takes your pants
Well,
off...
the reason I was saying is because if you can eat and live off it, that would be my dinner every night. Oh, is that weird? That got too weird with that one. Modifying this weird thing.
Denny's, okay.
All right.
I don't want to speak for the group, but
That
you
would
went too far.
I thought you were going to
save
say
you-
you're feeding her.
Or she could eat it too, man. It would be a dinner. That's why it was important, the question about how big it was.
Out of this podcast, does anybody have a question to ask the audience for our whole special thing? Now, when we ask our question, I want you guys to think why I'm giving the directions. When we end the podcast, the video is going to upload, and we have a comment section. We hate to see no comments there, and you guys have done a great job of leaving comments and your opinion. So please leave your comment down in the comment section. I don't mean to mansplain this, but I kind of have to because people don't leave comments if you don't. So when this is over, please leave your comments. And Beckett, what is the question?
You always get
of
mad at
the
my
night?
question.
Well, let's see.
I really want to know from the crowd like what each of us should be for Halloween. Don't you think that's a good one? Something that's
Oh,
Halloween related?
that's fun.
I always need to crowdsource ideas. We'll take a picture together in our Halloween outfits.
Okay, if the majority of the crowd, if someone says, I want to see Beckett turn into Alex Trebek, you have to turn into Alex Trebek.
100%. Trebek, I like that. That's cool.
Trebek. Wow.
Alex Trebek.
I can tell Joe Jury was today. Vicky, what do you think of Beckett's idea? Lame, weak?
The idea's okay, but I already bought my Halloween costume.
What are you going as?
Very simple. You'll see.
Oh, all right.
Sexy psychic?
No.
Okay. all
Or
right.
where we should watch the Dolphins game.
Now it's getting muddy back in.
What's the haunted the most spooky place in South Florida we can go? So you never like it.
No, I like the first one.
First one's good?
The first one's
Okay.
good. I'll do a vote.
Okay.
Denny, you like that one?
Yeah, I liked it.
All right, calm down, Denny.
His first one I thought was good.
Okay, let us know what would be a great. I don't know if I like that, Becky.
Is it too many because there's 4 of us?
Yeah, let's. It's something that we talked about tonight, Vicky, as the educator.
I don't remember what we talked about.
Damn.
Okay, it has to be. Oh,
Denny's, off the top of the dome, go.
How many arms is too many arms to like have on your
How about
body?
this?
If you went off
when
the
did we
dome.
talk about arms?
I don't know. You said off the dome. I thought
Here
that threw that
is-
bylaw out.
Here's the question of the night. If you have ever experienced a ghost moment in your life, give me or give us in great detail what you experienced. The person who has the most horrifying tale will win one session where you can rub Beckett's hair for 5 minutes. And maybe a Vicky reading. How are you doing on the
Yeah, she's got to
hurricane?
probably catch
Everybody
up.
remembered to call this week. I was going to give a shout out to everybody who had a booked appointment, and they actually remembered, and everybody called this week.
Are you done with the Great
No,
48?
I'm still booking them.
How many more do you think you have?
I don't know, because when I book something, I change it and put it to a different folder, so I'm just making my way up the list.
Could we-
I'm booked all the way through November.
Okay.
I'm going to start booking December next.
Why don't can we add this one to December?
Well, since this is a special occasion, I will fit them in on a day that I normally don't do readings. Let's do that.
Okay, I like it.
Okay.
So if you have a ghost story, put it down in the comment section. We will pick who has the best one, and Vicky will
Right.
give you a read. I love it.
And you have to be available on a Sunday afternoon. That's when I'll do the reading over the phone.
Great stuff, Vicky. And by the way, big props to Vicky for putting awesome stuff on the Facebook page. Spirit Award for Vicky. Your meme game's on point right now.
I'm always searching for them.
I love it. Okay, so give us your ghost stories when the podcast ends. We love you all oh so much. Thank you for the support. Thank you for everything. And
Bigfoot is real.
Ladies, once a year you're allowed to be a girl who dresses skanky without feeling guilty. And it's okay, you can show off your butt because it's Halloween. You're allowed to dress like a slut. Yeah, you can tramp it up. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're single or a mother of 2. It's Halloween time, so you can show off your boobs. It don't matter if you're skinny or if you have a gut because it's Halloween. You're allowed to dress like a slut. Yeah, you can show cleavage. Yeah. This is a song about women's rights. On October 31st, wear your costumes tight. It's Halloween. You can dress skanky. I like your costume. Your booty's hanging out. It's Halloween. You can dress slutty.
Happy Halloween.